real versus coach speak. Are we going to get real today?
We'll get real.
We'll get real today.
The last few weeks, we've had some pro scouts just coming out to watch BP, and so some of those guys that, may goof around a little bit, they've kind of locked in a little bit more.
It's like, hey, stick to your approach. It's like, well, I don't have one, so that I don't know what that means.
Hey, does this kid have it in here?
The game can't start till I throw the ball, buddy. So, leadership starts on the mound.
You have probably lost hours of sleep on hard decisions when you're just trying to do the right thing by the kid.
We learn from, hey, the word, but also, hey, how does this correlate to the game?
I'd argue it's more dangerous to rush a guy than it is to delay a guy.
I can't pick a winner, bro.
With
all that said, I can't pick a winner.
That, Jake is politically correct, huh? Did you send them the?
I did not.
You didn't? So none of us
They
know
were
what's
flying.
going on.
We're
winging
flying
it.
blind right now.
We're good.
Jake sends it to me every week, and I don't look at it because I think it's better when it's a surprise.
All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to Live at the Show. We're excited about today's episode with coaches from Charlotte Christian and Charlotte Catholic, Reid Fronk, Eddie Hull, along with Zach Remillard. Appreciate you listening in. Tomorrow, big game. We're calling this the game day for high school baseball.
game
First
day.
game day ever.
Yeah.
Charlotte Catholic versus Charlotte Christian at Charlotte Christian at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We're getting into some fun stuff. And here we go. Reid played at Charlotte Christian from Charlotte. Give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us. I know speak for Eddie as well. And yeah, played at Charlotte Christian, grew up here in town, and had the blessing and fortune to play at Chapel Hill, and then play in the Rays organization. Played pro ball for 7 years, and great experience, and found my way back to Charlotte, coaching under Coach Simmons, and learning that side of it, being on that side of the fence, and it's been again a blessing and just an honor to lead the program at Charlotte Christian.
Awesome. Eddie, you're in your third year at Charlotte Catholic?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Also from Charlotte, North Carolina. And give us a little background on yourself.
Yeah, born and raised in Charlotte as well. So not too many native Charlotteans left here, but got to play at Charlotte Catholic, similar to Reid. So being able to lead the program, where I went to school is awesome. So grew up, did some hitting lessons with Reid at Grand Slam USA.
Back in the day.
I worked there in high school, so got to hit there. And when Reid was around in the off seasons, we hit a little bit. But after high school, went on to went 1 year at Wingate, and then transferred to junior college. So back when we had to do a 4-2-4 transfer, went to Lewisburg for a year, played with some really good players there. And then played for Coach Hibbs at UNC Charlotte. Yep. Got to be a part of some great teams there with some really good players. The biggest thing for me, I think, as I've kind of grown in the coaching side of things, is just trying to surround myself with as many good people as possible, because I was not a great player, but, the more that I can absorb from other people, coaches like Reid, other guys. Coach Simmons was a huge mentor of mine as well. I played with Tyler, and Tyler coached me when I was at Charlotte. So just being around as many good people in baseball as I can be around has kind of been the goal for me. But being able to lead the program at Catholic is special. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we're excited about tomorrow's game. Obviously, two great leaders of two great programs. You guys are facing off tomorrow. How much of what you're going to say today is like real versus coach speak? Are we going to get real today?
We'll get real.
We'll get real today.
We got nothing to hide. No, I think it's fun. I mean, Eddie and I have had a great relationship for a really, really long time. He mentioned, me coming back hitting when I was playing pro ball and college ball, and he was in there as a high school guy, and I mean, we've known each other for just such a long. I was extremely excited for him, and honestly, the Charlotte Catholic community when they made the hire, because it was the right hire, and I was hoping it would happen. I just didn't know when, and so super excited for him at the time, and just knew he was going to do a heck of a job. So
that's awesome.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
What's one thing that you guys respect? Obviously, you guys respect each other a lot, your programs. What's one thing you respect about the other program if you had to put a detail to it? And one thing that they don't do as well as you?
Well, let me start this one. I think I grew up off Sardis Road, driving past Charlotte Christian every day too. So going to Coach Simmons' summer camps, and I think the tradition that Christian has is really the biggest thing. Catholics always had some good players, but we've never really won consistently, and that's something that I've been trying to Obviously, bring back these last few years, which we've done a pretty good job with. But the tradition at Christian, I think, is the biggest thing. The facility and the upgrades that they've made over there. Obviously, seeing 42 and Greg Simmons on the field on the turf is really awesome. But I think Christian is what I've been trying to model my program after Charlotte Christian. So I think y'all do everything right over there.
Wow. Well, I don't know about all that, but no, I mean that's a super high praise and a very nice compliment. I mean, I think what I've seen and just kind of watching from afar with Eddie and his staff and his program is the attention to detail. I think he's a super detail oriented coach, and he just doesn't leave any stones unturned. I mean, he's over at our games. I see him down the line, scouting us as much as he can. And hey, kudos to him. I see his staff, his players, how they operate, what they do before the game, how they communicate, and that's impressive. And so, certainly something that I've taken a note of, and just. To compliment you and how you've gone about it. That's been, I think, a testament to you, and one of the reasons why, you have been able to start developing that tradition that you're hoping to at Charlotte Catholic.
Thank you.
Has it been difficult, Charlotte Catholic, obviously been around many years, has it been difficult kind of turning them from a football-first school to now baseball's winning more and kind of taking over that? I think Frank Garcia helped build the football program there. But you turned that from a football school to a baseball school here recently.
Yeah, we have. So I obviously take an immense amount of pride in that. But it's been tough. I mean, we have an off-campus facility. I mean, Jack Hughes Park, great setup, awesome environment. I mean, think back to last year's game. Just a great environment. The crowd's right on top of you. It's loud. My dad's the PA announcer. Creates some good energy with the music and
Dr.
the walk-ups. So we do a great job with that. But, I think – budget-wise, it's always gone to football, and baseball has kind of always just been secondary, maybe not even secondary, really. But that's kind of what I've been trying to establish, is just bringing some pride in the baseball program. We've been able to get students, to make the 5-minute drive down to the ballpark and create a really cool environment. But that has been a struggle, and I think we're definitely heading in the right direction with that, though.
Zach and I have many conversations in here, and we were talking before we came on the set about – pro baseball is kind of like the end deal, and trying to get kids not to look past their present situation, because the present is a gift, right? And so pro baseball, we get it. It's kind of like the end deal, but even college baseball now is becoming win or go home, right? And so, Zach, your high school days, you said if I could go back to playing right now, I'd probably pick college, but now with the current setup, you might go back to high school. It's the most fun. Yeah. How would you speak to that if you share with the kids?
I think overall, first off, awesome programs. I think I don't go to a ton of high school games because I usually head out, but I think last year I caught one of your games at your place, and really cool environment. Good to see that for the kids. I honestly, growing up from upstate New York, I hadn't seen an environment like that at anything but a football game. So it was pretty exciting to see that baseball down here kind of carries that weight. But for me, it's always about when you can get games that matter playing underneath an umbrella that's bigger than you, so you can push the ceiling and you kind of lift everyone with you. It's that's the deal. I mean, pro ball is awesome. The big leagues is awesome, but the more identity becomes self-focused, the harder and less fun the game gets, and the more business-oriented it gets. So now is the time where you're eating, we were just talking about it, but you're eating home-cooked meals. You're sleeping in a bed. Your parents are there, and you're showing up, and you're playing in an awesome environment with coaches probably who are very overqualified to be high school coaches, especially around here. And it's don't miss it. Don't miss right now, because it doesn't last forever. And you're going to look up, even if you're me, I'm 32, played 10 years of pro ball, and it's it snapped right by.
Yeah, the closest amount of support you're ever going to have is when you're in high school, right?
100%.
With your family and the coaches that really care about you. So you guys are developing and shaping an ecosystem, right, in high school baseball, and you care about the kids. How do you balance competition with that bigger responsibility of the life lessons you learn in baseball?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll take that one. I think it's hard to do sometimes, especially during a season, right? Hey, because you're so focused on, next game, next opponent, scouting. making sure you're on top of, you know, what's going on with, hey, what do we need to be working on at practice? I think for us, it's just about carving out time for specifically that, where we're not talking about, so, you know, recently we were on a spring break trip, and I mean, for us, it's, hey, in the mornings after breakfast, hey, we're carving out time for devotions, and then it's, you know, obviously those correlate to, we're not just reading a passage and then, hey, we'll see you guys at the bus, but you know, talking about personal experiences and the life lessons. Not only do we learn from, hey, the word, but also, hey, how does this correlate to the game, and then how can we you know, be better as people through all of it. And so I think for us, that's something that I've actually asked some of our staff to challenge me on and remind me of during our season, because it can get so laser focused. And so it's a work in progress, but that's how we've done it, you know, of late.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Coach. Yeah, I think with both of us being faith-based institutions, obviously that's a huge piece of what we do at Catholic and Christian. You know, we'll pray multiple times a day. Catholic prayer is a little different sometimes than the Protestant prayers, but we'll gather, we'll say Our Father, Hail Mary multiple times throughout the day. You know, throughout the off season, when we have a little bit more time, we've done some classroom sessions and brought some speakers in just to talk about whether it's pro ball or maybe it's a financial advisor. Or a priest from St. Gabe's down the road. Like, we're able to bring some different people in just to kind of open up and talk about some different things. But like you said, when you get into the season, things start speeding up a little bit. So one thing we do every day is just a little thought for the day. So I always have a little something on the practice plan, and it varies. It could be a Bible verse. It could just be, you know, 2 or 3 words on there. But we'll talk about something like that pre-practice, pre-game. And I think that's been good for the guys and usually resonates well with them throughout the week.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to coach a lot of both of your guys, your players, your rosters. I remember one specific instance, Quinn O'Rourke going to Arizona, big arm, like has an opportunity to play in pro ball, who you've also coached as well. We started him at East Cobb one game, and I think he faced 8 or 9 hitters in the first inning, and just didn't the ball's coming out of his hand good, but just was out of the zone a little bit. And you know, Quinn's fiery, he's competitive, and like he literally wanted to, you know, tear the dugout up, do whatever he had to do to release that emotion. I put my arm around him all the way back from the mound to the dugout and walked him out. He walked out to the bathroom like, do whatever you got to do. Don't do it in public, right? Do what you got to do to release it. And I love that fire. You know, coaches at the younger ages are like, I hate when kids cry. And I'm like, well, I love it because that means they care, they have passion. Yeah. And then I don't like kids when they throw their bat. Well, I'd rather have some wildfire than no fire. How do you guys deal with that in season? Because that's how I feel. How do you feel about that? We need that fire to win.
Yeah, I'd rather have to rein it in versus light the spark. I mean, because hey, you typically can't light that in guys. So yeah, I would agree with your approach and your sentiments on it. I mean, I think it's individual, right? I mean, every kid's a little bit different. I think that's really our job, right? I mean, you know, there's a lot of guys who can teach hitting and teach pitching, but like I think the separator is, hey, are you going to develop a relationship enough where the kid actually hears you and cares about what you have to say when you do pull them into the locker room and get fiery maybe with him or you know, those kind of things. So I think that's kind of my mindset there, and just being able to, hey, know what button to push, maybe, you know, or maybe, you know, hey, he's got something going on, you know, whether it be at home or he just got his butt chewed out, you know, for something maybe he did in the classroom. And so, I mean, there's a time and a place, and I think you got to know when to pull those levers.
Right. You play with A.J. Marks at Coastal Carolina,
Anthony.
national champion. Yes. Perception-wise, and I've been around A.J. a little bit, but I didn't play with him. Fiery guy.
Yeah.
How do coaches, or specifically at Coastal Carolina, but other throughout the college ranks, handle that fire when, you know, a guy throws his bat, his helmet, things happen?
Yeah, specifically him, and I hope he sees this. Like, it literally took everyone on the team to rein him in. There was times where we were headed to tournaments, and like we would have to pull like all the seniors, grab him, pull him in the locker room, and he'd be like, nope. Like he was just, but like that was the same intensity and passion you saw when he crossed home plate. Like, and he cared, and he just really wanted to compete at a level that brought us all up, and like it did push us, and sometimes like it can become a distraction. And like we're talking about, it's like with anything, there's a lot of variables and a lot of things that like fluctuate throughout a player, a person, a kid's day, even a coach's day. When you show up to practice and your coach, like for some reason, is like getting a little bit more anal about every single detail, it's like you don't kind of realize that your coach is a person who might have had a really rough day on the other side of things. So I think it's always about like just using discernment, being patient, and just kind of like doing the best you can with the cards you're dealt in front of you. And I think that the default for me always looks toward like just patience, kindness, and love. I mean, it's biblical, but like it's not a reflection of you. And it's good that you want to protect the kid and you want to care for him, but like at the end of the day, like I got to where I was and I had to learn the hard way. I used to throw helmets. One time I came in the dugout when I was a senior in high school playing in college summer league, and I was doing really well. And my cousin was bat boying. They let my little cousin bat boy, and I threw a helmet and it came up and it hit him. And that's kind of the day. It was like God kind of used that moment to be like, this isn't going to be what we're doing. Like, so I think life lessons end up like giving us the experience we need to grow, and we're just kind of there as mentors, coaches, to guide them along that path that's already taken place.
Right. We're all under the microscope, and when I say all, not like us, like human society in general, we're under the microscope because there's always a video rolling nowadays. Does that go through your mind when you're taking a mound visit, or you're arguing with an umpire, or you're having a conversation with a kid out in the public? Does that it crosses my mind?
Yeah.
Does it cross your mind? Yeah.
Yeah, it crosses my mind for sure. I did have, I got ejected from a game a couple years ago, and I saw it on video, and I was like, man, that's never going to happen again. So that was an adjustment I made as a young coach. But yeah, I'm always thinking about that stuff. I'm always thinking about that when I'm having conversations with players, because we have a lot of honest, open conversations. So I make sure we have other coaches there. But ultimately, I think we have such great kids inside of our programs. Like it doesn't worry me too much, but it is always kind of in the back of my head as well.
Yeah. So good teams are ran by good coaches. Great teams are led by great players. Right. That's kind of a motto I have. Who's the leaders on your team? Does it have to be a senior? Are there juniors that can be leaders? Like, how do you guys approach that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, for us, it typically starts with our seniors. For us, kind of, some of the main guys this year for us are a guy named Drew Darling, plays first, plays left field for us. And I mean, another guy, Jack Beard, he's on the mound, Russ Berger, those three. But really, it's a collective group of our seniors. But, I mean, those guys are more example guys, right? Hey, they work the hardest, and how they carry themselves at practice in games is what we want our younger guys to see and to emulate. So, sometimes you might have the more vocal guy. Those guys aren't as vocal, as maybe guys that we've had in the past. So, hey, maybe I need to be a little bit more vocal this year with our team, or empowering one of our assistants to do that. So I think it looks different each year based on the personalities. Preferably it is a senior for us because, fortunately for us, a lot of these guys have come up, I've known them since they were in 4th and 5th grade. And so, they've dreamed about playing in our program, and they've been in the program, understand the culture, versus just, hey, he's the best player. The best player from a talent perspective could be, any grade. So that's kind of how we've thought about it and approached it.
Right. You guys have established something great over the last 3 years. What's your approach to leadership on the team?
Yeah, I've tried some different things the last few years. I've tried a leadership council with the combination of classes a couple years ago. I didn't love that. So I've kind of gone back to really just the seniors. So looking at this year's club, like, we have two phenomenal catchers, Brady Marconi and Paul Greeley. Marconi was a senior transfer, so like that was a little difficult at first, but like those two guys have become best friends and they've become captains. We got Quinn O'Rourke, who we talked about earlier, as a phenomenal leader. He's our Tuesday guy on the mound, so just kind of sets the tone for the week, but does a great job leading the younger guys and the pitching staff. And then Cooper Gornett, our shortstop. he's more of a quiet, lead by example type guy, but he's done a really good job this year as a senior of really taking the reins with the position guys. So, I always kind of lean towards seniors because they know what to expect and they know it's their last run at it, so they really want to take pride in this year's team. So, you look at other guy, Alex Hoffman's another guy that's kind of, in the past has been a lead by example guy. But when we give him the ball on Wednesdays, like we know we're going to have a chance to win. And he's taken a huge step leadership-wise this year, which I think is going to really, blossom for him over the next few years in, college baseball or pro ball. So
it's similar to kind of Alex, like a guy like popped to mind for us was Jack McGrath, who he was behind a really good catcher in Cohen Betancourt the last couple of years, and then assumed that role. And watching kind of like what you're describing with Alex, watching him like own that role, it's been really fun to watch and just being impressive. Like, and at that position, like you're saying about your guys, that guy's got to be vocal and he's got to be a leader. And so that's been fun watching, like, hey, whether it be something that maybe we said or our staff said, or just, hey, the kid just takes the bull by the horn. And, like, that's all kudos to a guy like Jack.
That's a special situation with Jack because, when he came over, he was at Charlotte Christian as a sophomore and was behind Cohen Betancourt. He was a junior and behind Cohen Betancourt. And a lot of kids, finally he's getting the opportunity as a senior, but a lot of kids in that situation, whether it's been in travel ball or whether it's in high school baseball or whatever it is, that kid who sees himself having to sit behind a guy for 2 years, he's going to a different school, he's transferring, he's going to a different travel program. Like, we don't see that type of loyalty or that type of perseverance to really fight through and wait for his time, right? And it's happening in college baseball now. If you go to a D1 program as a freshman, you're probably not on the field a whole lot, and you're kind of waiting for your time. But during that waiting time, I remember talking to Drew Donathan, who we've all probably been around, went to Clemson, went to Lipscomb. He told me, as a 14-year-old, we played him up with our 15U team, and he had never sat before. At his age group, he was the man. Well, at 15, they're a little bigger, a little stronger. He told me at the end of the season, he goes, I learned more just the time that I spent on the bench watching than I did actually going out and playing. Like, I learned a lot this year, and I appreciate that opportunity. You don't see or hear that a lot in high school baseball players or youth baseball players today. So big kudos to him. But for you guys, like, obviously great programs, you win a lot. You may have a sophomore that could be on varsity on 93% of the other teams in Charlotte. What do you say to that kid? Like, your time's coming. Like, how do you have those conversations with
I
sophomores?
want to just jump in before you guys go. Like, on that, it's like, to me, this generation, I fell victim to it to myself. It's like, there's a really, like, not calibrated, like, view of time. And I think that kids now, more than ever, like, think that, like, they don't even have time to go 0 for 3 in a high school game because, like, they're falling behind the trajectory of their career. And it's just, like, there's so many good examples. Like, I don't know your program as much. I worked with a lot of your guys for a long time, kind of in that sophomore class. But, like, guys like Jacob Reynolds and Banks Stevenson, like, those were guys who were developing a little bit later. Like, they're hitting in the 1 and 2 hole now. It's like there was a time where the world would want to convince you, like, oh, you're 11 now and you're not on the best team. And it's like those kids, like, feel that expectation pressure fall behind. But, like, and then you watch, like, as time goes, like, whatever your path is, there's something to take from it. And if you're always wanting to be somewhere else, like, you're going to miss the growing points that are actually going to strengthen you. And now those guys are hitting top of the order. Like, Jacob stayed down and kind of was at every game back and forth last year. Banks, I don't even know if he did the same. I think he was hurt and JV majority of the time. And it's like, patience is good and development is good. And, like, there's plenty of time to, like, continue your path to being great and just, like, enjoy playing the game where you are. But sorry to interrupt. You might want to re-ask your question.
Those are good points. I mean, the present is, like we said, it's a gift, and all of us got to learn how to stay in it, right? Not get too far ahead and look in the future. Not hate the past and what's happening and regret the past, but, like, staying in the present is important. So, like, what do you say to those kids, those freshmen, sophomore? They're like, I've had numerous conversations over 15, 20 years of coaching with kids that are going from middle school from 8th grade to 9th grade, and they're like, I got to make varsity next year. And I'm like, buddy, you just want to be on the field playing. Like, let the chips fall where they may. Do you have those conversations? Have they come to your desk? I'm sure they have.
Yeah, I mean, I had 2 of those conversations yesterday. And
Okay.
just because, like, for us, like, mid-season, it's like kind of a, I kind of earmark it as a time, hey, to check in with some guys and also and encourage them. That's the primary goal, especially if maybe they're not in the role that they want to be in. That's something like, a lot of people think, oh, you just write up the lineup card and hey, you don't think about, the guys who aren't playing. Like, I probably think more about those guys than the guys that we're putting in, because we do care about them, and we do see what they're doing and all the hard work they're putting in. And I think the biggest thing too is, like, most of these kids in our programs, their goal is to play college baseball. And I share an example. We had a kid who played at Charlotte Christian a little bit. I mean, you might have played against him, Griffin Gum. He didn't start until he was a senior.
Right.
The 3 guys ahead of him in the outfield, one was a draft guy, and then 2 guys were other Division I guys. And he ended up, on paper, maybe ended up having the best college career. Went down to UAB and hitting the 3-4 hole, and played for Coach Polk. And I mean, but he stayed the course. And I mean, special young man, special family. But that's an example. Like, if you don't start as a sophomore, that doesn't mean you're not going to play college baseball.
Right.
Like sharing that. Like, I think a lot, even if they're not guys, whether it be freshmen or sophomores that aren't starting for us, and I tell them, I know you're a college player. I believe it. And the opportunities will and are coming. It's just, hey, you see kind of where we're at right now with our lineup and our rotation, and we just got to keep going. But it doesn't change. It does not change how I feel about you as a person and as a player.
I'd argue it's more dangerous to rush a guy than it is to delay a guy.
For sure.
And obviously kids and families can't see that, but like, it is definitely doing right by the kid if you're very in between to like pump the brakes on him, because there's something to gain with like development, patience, and playing where you should be.
I'll say one thing to that, and then let Eddie go. But like, I think too, rushing a guy, like, sometimes guys can be at different spots physically than emotionally or mentally. And so wanting to pair the two with situations that a young man is playing in, hey, I make up a situation, pitching in a 5-4 game against a elite or a state, well-respected team versus, maybe a little bit more of a spread. Hey, that, for a first outing, that's not fair maybe to a young man, whether they're good enough or not. And managing the emotional piece there and the confidence piece is important. I know I had a lot of really good coaches that helped me in that area when I was coming up. But to your point about slowing things down.
But I think that's why, like, even why we're excited to do the podcast is because, like, people just, like, when you don't get outward facing enough, you're in your office, you're like on the front lines taking care of these kids, like, to share the process, the thought process, the care that goes into it. I think, like, people need to see, like, how, like, you have probably lost hours of sleep on hard decisions when you're just trying to do the right thing by the kid. And there is no good decision that feels good for everyone, but it's like, it keeps you up at night sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, I mean, we've done a few different things in regard to that. I mean, I think back to a guy like Cooper Gordonette, who played JV his entire freshman season, and was a guy that probably could have played second base at the varsity level. But I think offensively, he really needed those at-bats and needed to learn how to play every day. But we, as we've gotten into this thing the last few years, this year we actually started a freshman team, which was really cool. I've always said I want to impact as many people through baseball as I can, and I keep a lot of players. We have 28, 29 guys on varsity, which is a lot. And then JV, last year I had 29 on JV, which was way too many. So I basically split that up this year, and I have a freshman and a ninth grade team and then a JV team, to where all of my young guys are able to play pretty much every day. Now, we don't have as much depth. We got about rolling out with 9 position guys pretty much in each of those younger games. We did a split squad game yesterday. One team went to Weddington, one team went to Porter Ridge. But I think that's been really good for our guys. But I've always tried to, especially the sophomore class. I think that's been the most difficult piece for me. It's like, hey, could I throw a middle infielder at second base, bat him in the 9-hole? He's probably going to be more of a bunt, hit and run type guy. Maybe not going to get to swinging as much as I want him to. Maybe I can kind of platoon him on the varsity level, go play 1 or 2 JV games that week. And if I can kind of, at the public, we play with the public schools, so we have a game count that we have to kind of keep track of. I think you guys are a little bit different, but I kind of have to monitor those sophomores and how many varsity games and JV games they're playing. But that's kind of been my goal, is just get those guys as many at-bats as possible on JV, and then if they can come up and fill a role on varsity, we'll do that. But we have a few guys in that boat this year. It just takes a little more planning on my end, but I definitely could agree that sometimes you can speed them up too fast, and that really hurts the confidence too.
And like sometimes you get kids that like, I think the other thing that goes into like just from like a parent and outside perspective is like, I don't think they realize that like you guys get surprised. Like sometimes like it's good for the kid to go down there because we thought we understood what box he fit in, and he takes this development step that we didn't see coming, and it's like, who is this kid? Whether it's a growth spurt, whether it's a swing adjustment, whether it's just like reps to understand the game and building confidence, it's like they're very much developing and we're responding to what we see. So it's like sometimes making those decisions because like you want to see what a kid has is important versus like letting him rot on the bench and play a role where you can't really get that feel.
Yeah, you guys both have multiple D1 players on your roster. What separates a good player from a recruitable player in your program? Because there's a guy who's a really good high school player, and they don't go play in college, and there's many people that ask the question like, how does that kid not go play in college? Versus the 6'4" righty who weighs 160 pounds, but we see how the projectability there. So again, you both have tons of D1 players on your roster. What separates that good player from a recruitable player?
I think just their daily actions, kind of how they go about their business. I'll give you an example. Today, we're on the road tonight at Porter Ridge in a big conference game. We're going to have a little pregame lift mobility session. Those guys, are they going to get in there and take care of their bodies and get ready to go for tonight? Are they going to go through BP, their BP routine the right way? It's been kind of cool the last few weeks. We've had some pro scouts just coming out to watch BP, and so some of those guys that, may goof around a little bit, they've kind of locked in a little bit more for BP, which has been awesome. So, but how they go about their business pregame, and then obviously once we get to the game, if there's a JV game in front of us, are they ready to go as soon as that JV game wraps up? Do the players take charge of how we warm up and do things, take our in and out, make sure we look good with that stuff. But I think all of our guys, I've kind of pushed them these last couple of years just to kind of take the reins of that stuff. But I think you've kind of seen that with some of the Division I guys we've had. And, again, I've always tried to kind of model it after what you guys have done.
Yeah, I think a couple things. One, do you love baseball? If you don't love it, college baseball is not for you. And then two, it's back to the fire. Like, hey, not only do you need to love it, you need to love doing all the things that Eddie just talked about, not just when, hey, you flip the lights on, tomorrow at 3 against a really good opponent. Yeah, everybody loves that. Hey, there's a couple thousand people, and hey, but do you love it when, hey, nobody's there back in November and you got to go get your mobility or whatever it is in, and then the like that drive, that internal drive, like, hey, I love it, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn a job, to succeed, to help my team win. Those things all translate to the next level.
Yeah, the game's become so metrics driven, and the wonderful thing is you're never going to be able to measure the heart, and that's huge. Yeah. I tell my guys all the time here at SBA, like, if you see a kid that has that burn in the belly to compete and win in the game, he loves baseball, like, he's here all the time, he's on the field all the time, that's what he wants to do. Like, I don't care where he is development-wise physically, you got to keep that kid. We're keeping that kid, but because there's not a whole lot of that going around. So, yeah, the love for the game is huge.
So I said this, so I was talking to our pitching coach, Chris Narvison, this morning. And we were talking about pro ball and those kind of things. And pro scouts, yeah, they're going to come, they're going to write down the time to first, the miles per hour, but they're really not there to see that. They're there to try to figure out, hey, does this kid have it in here? Because like they don't have to come to the game. Like I can text them that. They don't have to travel across the Southeast as an area scout or a cross check, they're not going to pay the money to fly in. They can get all that online now.
Absolutely.
And so they're trying to see the before the game, does he love it? Talk to the parents, watch him go to his car, put his uniform, I mean, whatever it ends up being, that's what they care about.
Absolutely.
And that's I think maybe some people don't know that, but that's really the truth. You ask any pro scout, I mean, they're not asking us any of the metric stuff.
They know.
They got all that.
Got it all.
They're
there
asking
because
about,
they
hey,
already like him. They're trying to figure out the intangibles, right?
100%.
Yeah, the metrics got them to the fields.
Yeah.
And now they're looking at, like, I don't know, we've talked to a lot of people recently about, like, how important these organizations want to build relationships with players they draft, because you look through the fence 3 times and you have no idea you're spending $5 million on what character, you know what I mean? And they want the level of intimacy and access to be able to understand at a deeper level, like, hey, is this talent level going to hold? Because they know the adversity you're about to walk through and the expectation and the grind. And it's like, there is a character piece that will never go away, and it's like the reason in a relationship piece. So like that's why we'll have jobs forever coaching. It's because you can't get rid of it. It's
Right.
very important.
I always talk about character, work ethic, and talent, and a lot of people think that talent's going to be the number one factor for where you moving forward in the game, and it's not. Because
it's not.
without character and work ethic, that talent's going to flounder. It's not going to continue to grow and progress.
And I would also throw in, how do we handle failure? I mean, that's what I feel like I'm talking about more than anything right now. Yeah, we've won a few games the last couple of weeks, but like we still go through moments where we're not pitching it the right way. We're 0 for our last 6, and just back to those conversations you're having in the locker room mid-game or whenever, right? It's just, how do we handle failure, especially when there's so many eyes on our players, whether
Right.
it's scouts, agents. I deal with agents all the time now. So there's just so many eyes on these guys. So hey, man, if you're gonna go, like, if you line out or you strike out, have a bad at bat, go in the locker room, shut the door for a minute, and then come back out. Let's play defense and be ready to go. And I think that's been a really big, growth point for our players the last couple of years.
Yeah, the expect failure, like you're gonna go through failure. It's like, I almost feel like I've been on a mission recently to get kids to associate like what you're experiencing in the saying you've heard your whole life, because they kind of like disconnect them, and they hear someone say like, how you persevere, how you handle failure, like will dictate how far you go in this game, and it's become like meaningless words to them. It's kind of like a coach sitting in the box or third base
become
box,
cliche.
like, hey, stick to your approach. It's like, well, I don't have one, so I don't know what that means. And it's like, when you're home and you're like sad and you like whatever it looks like, when you think the world's closing in on you and your career's coming to an end, like when a coach says like how you handle failure, like that is the moment that they're referring to. So like, don't separate those things. Like, this is the moment where you respond in a way that like sinks a lot of ships. And it's like, if it was about talent, you probably wouldn't be the guy. Like, the reason that I got to play in the big leagues is because, like, not that I wasn't talented, but it's because it wasn't about talent. There was a perseverance piece. And it's like, it gives advantage to people who might not be as talented, and kind of gives them a lane to overcome, because like, if it was the NBA, like, you probably wouldn't be playing in it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it
but
makes
that's
perfect.
kinda,
It makes perfect.
For sure. I'm thinking as you guys are talking, my senior year, I had 30 Major League Baseball scouts at one of my games in the spring, and I walked the first 3 guys of the game. And I tell this story because I'm about to highlight some of the great coaches that have come along the way, and as you guys stay in the game, you're going to be those guys. But Coach Cluis, my high school coach, came out to the mound, and he was like, hey, this is exactly what they want to see. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, how are you going to respond from adversity? They're here because you're good,
Yep.
and they like you. They want to see how you're going to respond at it from the adversity of your last 0 for 6 or your last 0 for 9 or whatever, or you walk 3 guys in a row. And that was my first moment of it clicking, because there wasn't a whole lot of adversity for me growing up. That was a moment of adversity with that level of exposure with 30 guns staring at you behind the plate. And I was like, all right, I got it. Okay. So, your Hal Bagwells, who we've been around, I grew up playing against, and your Greg Cluis at Myers Park, and your Danny Hignites, and in these settings, you're not supposed to name names because you're going to leave somebody out. But there's been a lot of good coaches that have affected. You played for Cluis, I believe, in Legion Ball.
I did.
And, Greg Simmons, who, he's passed, he's in heaven. There's been a lot of good coaches that we've had the opportunity to be around that have molded and shaped us, and we take the good things from. How, you see yourself 20 years down the road. Is that something you strive to be like? What is your, what do you want coaches and the community to say about you as a coach 20 years from now?
What you think, Eddie?
Man, no, I played for Coach Clute, great guy. I played for Coach Serby, Legion Ball, great guy. Coach Randy Belk at Charlotte Catholic was great. Coach Hibbs, I think I learned more from Coach Hibbs more than anything at the college level. But and then staying in touch with those guys post playing career, because I think that relationship's even obviously different. And I think it gets better after you played for them. But I hope 20 years from now, man. Like I said, I want to impact as many people through the game as I can. But I want my players. I don't have to be invited to every wedding, but I want them to call me and just check in on me. And
if you're invited to every wedding, you might hit the bank account a little
bit. I know. I don't know if I can do all that, but I would love to get. The last couple of years, I've gotten texts from guys at the college level, like sending me different things. A couple of kids have sent me hats that I keep on my desk, but that's the stuff that kind of stays with me and kind of gives me chills thinking about it. But I hope 20 years from now I have a wide range of players that are obviously played at higher levels, but also. You got doctors and dentists. They're gonna make a lot more money than me, and I look forward to kind of seeing what those guys can do with it. So,
Reid.
Yeah, I mean, I think for just that they know how much I care about them. I mean, and that they know that I invested my time and energy into. First of all, it's pointing them to the Lord. I mean, somebody challenged me last year to kind of put a mission behind. And some of that can be a little culturalese and cliche, but I put it in front of him, and hey, point all of our guys to him is number one through being one of the best programs across the country, and that's the mission, and then how we go about that on a day to so the guys that's what they know, that's what they're hearing. Ultimately, they know that I care about them. I was talking to one of our former guys before I walked in here, and I was like, hey. I want you to know I believe in you and I care about you. Yeah. I mean, that if they know that and believe that, then everything else, playing pro ball, winning games, winning championships, that's all a byproduct of those other things.
Yeah, that gives you an opportunity to speak into their life, if they know that you love them, right? People don't care what you know till they know that you care. That is first 100%, and creating relationships are everything. All right, so it's kind of some of the fun stuff. If you could have take one player off each other's roster, who would it be right now?
I like that question.
For me, it's an arm.
Yeah,
and I argue with the position guys, rim position guy. The game can't start till I throw the ball, buddy. So leadership starts on the mound.
A good coach is going to pick a need, though. He's going to have a need. He's going to fill.
Right.
I'll go first. I mean, I think he threw for you guys last night, Hoffman. Yeah. I mean, the guy, watched him kind of grow up in your program. I mean, he's. You guys got a lot of really, really high level players. Like you said, love Quinn. I mean, those are the two guys that kind of just popped to mind immediately, just like when you said it. But was thinking about him because I think I checked your box score, and I think it's just been impressive kind of watching him grow as a player, and he's just a really, really talented guy offensively. He's a two-way guy too, so you get both pieces there. So can really swing it. I know. I remember, some of his at-bats against us in the past and just tough out. And then, can really help you on the mound, mid-90s kind of guy, and really has taken that leap on the mound from afar.
No, he has. He's been awesome. Like I said, leadership piece has been the biggest piece for him. But whether he plays professionally next year or goes to college, Alex is ready for whatever will be thrown at him. I think really the only guy I really have a relationship with is Matty Carroll, because he was at Holy Trinity. I got to teach him sport management class. I teach in the mornings at our middle school, but so he'd be one of them. He'd be the first one that comes to mind.
Okay.
You guys are always strong up the middle, but I'd say I'd love a big lefty. I really like Berger. So he'd be the one that I'd like, probably would fit in well with our pitching staffs. We don't have enough left-handed options. So that'd be the one that really jumps out to me. And I saw him throw against TC Roberson a couple weeks ago, and he was really good. I know he was good in Arizona. So
You'll see him tomorrow.
I figure we might. That's what I was planning on.
You'll see him tomorrow.
So I was about to ask that.
It's going to be two lefties tomorrow. Well, I'll go ahead. Yeah, it'll be Russ against Griffin McCain. He was going to start tonight. Okay. So we're gonna push him to tomorrow. So it'll be two lefties. Should be fun.
Good stuff.
That'll be fun.
I love it. What's one matchup tomorrow that you think decides the game?
Starting pitching's gonna be big.
Yes.
Those two guys, I think, will set the tone. I'm hoping it's a fairly low-scoring game. I hope it's clean defensively. I think for them, kind of the top half of the order. I know they're young guys. Like you said, he's got a couple young guys at the top of the order. I think if we can handle those guys, and we get to the middle of the lineup with not too many guys on base, I think we'll have a chance there. I know the middle lineup's gonna be tough, but I would say if McCain can kind of keep guys off balance with usually he's got 3 pitches in the zone. I think it's really going to start with him.
Go ahead. No, you got it.
So we talk about, kind of going back to the X's and O's of the game. And as a coach, we try to make things as simple as possible, right? So there's not tons of things going through kids' heads. The leadoff guy gets on, you put pressure on the defense, right? As a pitcher, if I throw strike 1 and I'm working ahead, we have less gray hairs, but good things can happen. And in those counts, the data is so important in today's game. So how do you preach to your, in a game tomorrow, 7 innings, there's 7 leadoff hitters. So even your 4-hole guy that might be leading off the second inning, he's got to maybe flip the script and see, as a team, I want to win this game. I got to figure out how to get on base so my leadoff guy gets on. So there could be the possibility of a bunt, a possibility of a hit and run. There's some good things that can happen when the leadoff guy gets on. And defensively, great things happen when I'm always throwing strike 1, right? And you're always attacking the zone. You're putting, hitters under pressure. So in that, how do you teach those things? Because the game's becoming so individualistic, right? And kids are wanting more exposure. And, what is exposure? Gosh, it's such a broad, do you want us to be on social media? Do you want to be in front of college coaches? What is exposure? Ultimately, if you stay in the present and you do what it takes to win a ball game, then the exposure can come. Good things can happen, right? How do you teach your guys that? Do you talk
Maybe
about
I'll just take this clip that you just said. Just put it on the video.
He gave you the answer. Right? Question there.
No, I think it's just consistent conversation about it. We preach all those things that you mentioned, and we care about them and share them in different ways. And I think, I feel there was a time this week where I felt like we weren't locked into some of those things, and sometimes I got about 2 or 3 empty the clip kind of conversations with our guys every year, and I had one of those. So I think it's just kind of knowing the moment, knowing where your guys maybe are mentally, and sharing all the things that you just said in the appropriate way.
So Eddie, you coach in the summer just like we do. And you have those kids that come to the plate and they want to hit a double to get seen, right? Oh, yeah. And that can transfer over to the high school game and to any game, right? And it's not about hitting the double; it's about having a quality at bat. And how do you teach that to your kids?
Yeah, and we've actually been fortunate. We scored some runs this year. I don't think we've been great offensively. We still do have some selfish at bats and guys that go through those. We're going to be at your place tomorrow. Some guys are probably going to try to poke the ball down the right field line, try to get big on us. But I think we talk about team at bats. We have quality at bat thing posted in our dugout at home. We always, each game, Coach K. McGuire, one of my assistants, coaches my freshman team. He keeps track of quality at bats, shares that percentage after the game, in the moment. And obviously, if we played well, those numbers look good. We talk about 2 strike, how competitive can we be with 2 strikes? So a lot of times, sure, you take a daddy hack, first pitch, 2-0, sure, swing through it, that's fine. But as we get deeper in counts, when we get to 2 strikes, can we be tough outs? Can we move runners? Can we have productive outs? So we do talk about that stuff a lot. And I think we've done a phenomenal job, the last couple weeks of adjusting to that. But yeah, it is tough sometimes with those guys. They definitely do want to kind of bring those summer mentalities. But hey, we only got 1 game. We don't have 4 games here in Atlanta over the next 2 days. Focus on this game. How can we win this game and help the club win?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the landscape looks like, and you guys can touch on as much as you're comfortable. But if you're what does the scouting report look like? What is pregame preparation? Because you're culture guys, obviously, like you have to be, but like if I'm preparing my team and I want to create a plan with team offense, like it's nice to have some information of like, hey, this guy's got some rides, some arm side. He's in the zone less than 50% of the time. Maybe this guy, and like developing kind of like a game plan that is like more team oriented. Is that something you guys get enough information to do? Yes. And what does that look like? Yes. Trade secrets. So,
yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily trade. I mean, the crazy part is like, I think local games like this, like our guys know each other better than we can probably even put together a report. Yeah. Do we have reports? Do we have information? You know, it's almost like, hey, how much do you want to share? Because I mean, you know, guys that on your team, they know who's going to be pitching. They were at our game when, you know, Berger pitched. They've seen him. Like you and I don't go in the box anymore. So like, you know, they can see it. You can put it all in front of them. I think it's just more back to the team first, right? Like, hey, staying with your plan, whatever that, you know, there's going to be specifics that Eddie has for tomorrow and there'll be specifics that we have, but like, hey, stay with it. Right. And, you know, I think that's it, as a young player, like myself included, you know, that was always the biggest challenge, right? Hey, you're in an environment like, hey, let's go let it eat, versus, hey, what are we here to accomplish, you know, today? And I mean, back to the point about like, you know, strikes and quality at bats. I mean, we have 3 goals that are posted and that we chart in our clubhouse. And strike percentage, we have a number that we want to hit every week. Everybody's, hey, Jake Robbins was at 60%, and quality at bats, it's posted, hey, Reid Fronk, you were at 48%. So like, those are other ways visually and in front of the group that we post and share and celebrate.
Yeah.
Correct. So
I love that. It took me 10 years to get to the big leagues, and they're like, well, did you all of a sudden have a velocity jump? No. Did you find a better pitch? No. Like, what got me to the big leagues was that business data approach of first pitch strikes. The top 3 guys on the pitching staff, they got a bonus at the end of the month, and if you're ahead of the count, you know, you get a guy out, you get to a 2-strike count before 2 balls, you get a bonus if you're in the top 3. If you get the first guy out you face every inning, or the first guy you face coming out of the bullpen, and that percentage is the top 3 on the team, you get a bonus. So like, I was like, I need that bonus. I'm in the minor
they give you
leagues. I'm not making money.
I mean, I feel like we were making $100 a month.
Yeah, it was like $250 bonus to the guy who led the percentages. Yeah. So all of a sudden, I make my debut in Detroit, and I've got first and third and Brandon Inge at the plate. I didn't think about there's 20,000 people in the stands and Brandon Inge is a 3-1 game. No, I literally ran through, it was first pitch strike.
Taskmaster.
Be task oriented. And those numbers, which data is driving our society today, can really help a kid, you know, if they can see it. The kids want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to put everything in writing as much as we can. But I think back to the scatter report, like it's funny. We're going to see Colton Johnson tonight. I think that's his name, from Porter Ridge. It's a 6'8" lefty, so like long, lanky, gets down the mound. And obviously similar approach tomorrow. So like today's training, we'll hit left-handed fastballs, extended legs with the break off the hack attack. And then we'll also mix in some live arm stuff because, you know, if we get change up breaking balls, we got to be able to adjust a little bit too. So we mix that stuff in pregame on a daily basis. Yesterday was more of just like a live arm BP day, just feel good day. But I do try to prep those guys, you know, with the hack attacks because we all know how beneficial that can be. Because we got to be ready for velo tomorrow. So that'd be something that we obviously talk about. But I think just back to like obviously really quality programs, I think having a scouting report, even if it's just like, hey, here's what we think is going to like something very simple, nothing along the lines of what we had at the college level, but just it kind of shows that we're prepared for the game as well. And I think the players appreciate that.
Yeah,
stuff.
they do.
100%.
Going back to development versus exposure, right? How do you manage that? Because coaches want to win, right? Parents want to win, players want to win, but they also want to mix some exposure into that, right? And it seems like it gets magnified every single year. How do you manage development every single day? Because baseball is a game of reps. The more quality reps I can take, the better I'm going to get. And, you know, a month from now I'm going to be better, and 6 months from now I'm going to be even greater. So development versus exposure, not, you know, preach a kid, you don't have to hit a double in the gap to get exposure. Like, you can get a bunt down. Because at the college level, when you go there now, regardless if you're the 4-hole hitter, you might have to bunt at the next level. And I personally think that bunting helps you hitting, trains your eyes to the barrel. So how do you develop Development versus exposure. How do you?
Yeah, I think for me, development's just a day-to-day piece. It's who we are. It's what we do in practice. It's what we carry into the game. Some of the things that we're preaching. And then in exposure, like, hey, for me, it's controlling what I can control as a coach, right? So I can control our schedule. I can control which spring break tournament we play in. I can control the amount of conversations and the connections that I have and can reach out to. So, the exposure piece, that's kind of, hey, I'm going to put our guys in a great position to have that. Now it's their job to come to practice and work really hard and do those things, and then all that's going to translate into the games. Like they're going to play in
big moments,
in
right.
games where there's a lot of people there, or there's scouts that want to come watch them play, and there's other good players on the field with them, and both on our team but also on the other team. So that's something I can control and take a lot of pride in, putting that schedule together so our guys can not only challenge themselves but also be in environments that expose them to the college and pro level.
Right.
Yeah, I've called Reid several times just to try to talk through scheduling and different things, just trying to take notes from you because you guys do such a good job with it. We have our game counts a little bit different, but we've been trying to maximize that for our guys as best we can. I think the exposure piece, like really one example I could share would be like this year we have 2 front end arms, and those guys are throwing on Tuesday and Wednesday. So from like a pro scouting standpoint, guys are able to get out there. So we've seen a lot of guys. Fridays they're going to see Division I Friday guys for the most part, but. That's been one big thing for us, but I think just the day-to-day, posting a practice plan, sitting in our group chat on GroupMe, and then having that posted at the, in the locker room every single day. They know exactly what's expected of them each day. They know exactly what time we're starting stretch. They know exactly what time team defense starts. They know exactly what the BP plan is for the day, which, if we're feeling good, the routine's pretty much the same, but they know what time we're getting out of there, so I don't get any questions like, hey, coach, I got a haircut at 6 o'clock. Like, hey, man, we're done at 5:45. You might could get there by 6:15. Like,
right.
So I think that's been a big piece for us. The exposure, we just had really good players these last few years, and obviously scheduling guys like Coach Fronk and Charlotte Christian helps with that. But I think that's kind of taken care of itself, and hopefully continues to attract really good players. So
Yeah. High school baseball versus showcase baseball. They both have their place, and they're both 1,000% needed. Do you have those conversations with kids that they feel like they're a D1 player, but in the current situation of college baseball, they're not? Those are tough conversations. They're not always fun. College baseball has become more like Major League Baseball, the minor league system. In these last 3 or 4 or 5 years since COVID has happened and the portals opened up and guys have been given extra years. So really good ball players that we've all coached, they're falling from D1 to JUCO, or they're falling from D1 to D2. And whereas 7, 8 years ago, they'd have been D1 players. Are you having those conversations during the school year?
Yeah, we have those a lot. I think from my standpoint, Reid would be the same way. We have a lot of high academic kids, so at Catholic, it's either really the Division I players or Division III players, which I think, teaching guys about Division III baseball, like, hey, go watch Washington and Lee play when they're down here in Kannapolis. Go watch those high-level D3s and go watch Pfeiffer and different places like that. But the Division I stuff's easy. Everybody wants to play Division I. But we do have those conversations. And then I do run some teams in the summer with the Queen City Corn Dogs, and we have a lot more like Division II junior college guys. So I've been working more with our college team the last couple summers with the Corn Dogs, so I kind of deal with a lot of portal stuff with those guys. But I think my summer teams is Division II JUCO guys because maybe the caliber of player is a little bit lower and they're not as high academic. But we have those conversations all the time, and we have player meetings at Catholic 2 or 3 times a year, and we're sitting down and talking about that stuff throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, hey, my goal is to help you get to a place that's a really good fit for you. Not to be cliche, but like, hey, it might be, might believe that you're a Division I player. Hey, Jake might believe you're a Division I player. Hey, right now, can you go in and get on the field at a Division I level? That's the college coaches, that's their job. Correct. And so, like, that, whether we believe it or not, we're not sales guys. I mean, like, our job is to develop, to provide exposure, to your point earlier, and then
It's up to the kid to play.
The college, and then the college coaches, they make their evaluations. And so we get the feedback, we provide the feedback, and then it's like, hey, let's make the best choice for you, your family, academics, proximity. You know, we hadn't had as many Division II and Division III players, you know, in years past. But I mean, we have, you know, we got right in our backyard. We got Belmont Abbey, Wingate, you know, Lenore Rhine.
Catawba.
They're all in the top 15 right
There's
now.
like 5 or 6 D2 teams
And-
all ranked in the top 12 right now. They're 45 minutes from here.
Pembroke's in the top 25. In all those places, you know, they have great coaching staffs. They have great institutions, and like, and our guys have a chance to go and play right away, or at least compete to play.
We talked about the kid last night who pitched against you guys, Hunter Kinchlow, right?
Oh,
have an opportunity to go to Hampton Sydney.
He's a great pitcher.
He's going to be on the field or have the opportunity to be on the field as a freshman versus if he goes to the D2 or D1 level, he may be waiting for a couple years, right? And you know, if you're not on the field, you're probably not developing as quickly as possible. So ultimately, it's almost like you got to get your foot in the door these days with the landscape of college baseball, and then with the transfer rules currently, you can transfer up, you know, year after year. You can transfer 4 times, 5 times now if you want to. So
I will say one more thing about small college baseball. I think there's stability there with coaching staff. Like Jeff Gregory's been there forever at Wingate.
Coach Gant's been at Catawba forever.
He's a
Yeah.
legend. I don't think he's ever going to retire.
He's not.
Belmont Abbey staff's been consistent for the last 15 years. Coach Anderson's doing a great job. So, like, those guys, you know, Coach Doty at Gaston College, like, I think he loves junior college baseball. I played for him at Charlotte. So, but I think that small college baseball, Division II, Division III route, like, the coaches are going to be there too. So I think that's another enticing thing that I like to share with people as well. Because if you struggle at Division I level for a year or two, like, that coaching staff's going to look different, and you may be looking for a home.
Going the other way.
Yeah, maybe going the other direction. So.
Right. In conversations with college coaches, we kind of laugh about these things, but have you guys have conversations about, you know, some things that college coaches are tired of seeing from high school players? I'll give you one. I'll just kind of get your mind
What you
thinking.
got?
They are so tired of the hat falling off the pitcher every single pitch they make, right? Like, get a bobby pin or get one that fits. Like, all of us are tired of seeing the hat flying off every single pitch, right? That's one that they're tired of seeing. Does that kind of spur your thought process? Have you had conversations with guys that
I think it's
they're
just
tired of seeing?
all. I mean, to me, it just what pops is body language, right? A big separator for me, but also college coaches is body language. Hey, umpire makes a bad call, getting the shoulder drop, or not getting the strike call. You know, taking 20 seconds in between the next pitch. Like, hey, guys, umpires are trying their best, and they're gonna
human, just like
they're
anybody
gonna
else, right?
they're gonna miss calls. You know, all I ask about of the umpires, I tell our guys is, hey, that they're they're trying to do their best, just like you are. And so, and if they're not, that's when I'll get on them. But most of them really are trying to do their best. Yeah. They're doing it because they love the game, not because they're trying to make a buck. So the body language for me is the one that I hear probably the most.
Yeah.
I did see we have 2 good umpires tomorrow on Dragonfly, so we should be.
Oh,
in good
nice,
shape
nice,
tomorrow.
nice.
I would say with the 2 things I preach the most, number 1 is just getting on and off the field quicker. Like, we coach in the summer.
speed of the game's totally different.
When you're playing doubleheaders in Atlanta in July and it's 100 degrees, like, okay, you can move a little bit slower in between innings, okay. But with us, it's 70, 80 degrees. It's beautiful. You're playing 1 game a night. Like, get on and off the field quicker. Be ready to go when that first pitch is, or when the umpire says, let's go. And then the second thing, like, that bothers me is just, like, back and forth between benches and dugouts. And that's one thing that I've tried to control. Like, I promise you tomorrow with fans, like, it's going to be, like, our dugouts will be loud tomorrow.
There'll be at least 1,000 people
there
there
If there's
tomorrow.
anything said from our dugout to Matty Carroll at third base or Andino or whoever, like, I'm like immediately shutting it down and might kick the guy out of the dugout. So like it shouldn't happen tomorrow. But that's one thing over the last couple of years that I've really had to monitor is just like, how do we control ourselves? Because now eyes are on us. If doubted athletes or whoever's got the mic on and the cameras are here, like, you guys got to be professional and do things the right way. So there'll be energy tomorrow, but like, it's going to be in a respectful and a good way.
That was exactly the point I was going to hit. Is like, I think like the fun, the game, the direction, the bat flips, like it's all in good fun, but I don't know when it became okay to look at a person on the other team and celebrate. Like, if you look at someone else's dugout, you've crossed that line. If you stay with your guys, go crazy, look in your dugout, but as soon as you like turn toward the other team, like it's a no. It becomes blatantly like disrespectful to the game, and it's not celebrating. It's like I said, it's disrespect. So like to piggyback off your point, it's like bring the energy. It's a different generation. I'm not telling you to not have a blast, but like pretend the other team doesn't exist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Play your game.
Yeah, the social media keyboard warrior syndrome makes people think they can say whatever they want to, whenever they want to, whoever they want to, and like all of a sudden you're face to face. That doesn't work, and that's not good.
Well,
Right.
the biggest thing too is like you play long enough, you're gonna get humbled. I don't
Absolutely.
care if you are the best player in high school baseball in the country. I promise you, it's not gonna go your way at some point, and hey, all of a sudden you start keeping or continue to run that mouth. Typically, it teeters back on you,
Right.
and it's never worked for anybody I've been around.
You
so
sow what you reap.
Yeah.
Or you reap what
It
you sow.
exposes you. Like
It does.
if you do that, like it's coming from insecurity because you finally feel like you have the right to act that way, and it's like, but you very much haven't done that before until it goes well for you in the right spot, and it's like. That's when you kind of show your hand, and if you can look past it, you're like, it's not good for the game.
And as Christian schools too, like we got to treat people the right way.
Yeah.
100%.
It goes back to umpires too, but
Yeah.
just doing things the right way, I think, is the biggest thing.
And like it's like I'm sure you say it the same way. Hey, stay with us. Like this is it's about our group, and it's a great environment, and we all we know guys on the other team, and that's fun too. But it's just hey, stay with who we are and who we want to be and who we want to represent.
Yeah, well, the Bible talks about, if you pride cometh before a fall, and if you walk in humility, there'll be honor behind that. And so, have either of you ever been out coached?
Yes.
Because I've been out coached before, and there's some humility in that, but it's also a learning moment, right? It's just like a hitter, he goes 0 for 4. He got beat 4 times. He can either go, sulk, or he can learn from that, and the next time things may be different. So have you ever been out coached?
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think about the two really good coaches outside of Charlotte that I put in like kind of that upper echelon are Brian Hucks out of Lexington down in South Carolina, and Matt Spivey down at James Island, and we try to play those guys every year, and both those guys have outcoached me multiple times. We've been fortunate enough to win some games against them too, but those guys, they are always ready, and they always have their guys prepared situationally, and they've gotten us, and they've gotten me personally a couple times for sure.
Yeah.
So the first one that comes to mind this season was we're in a new conference. We're in the Union County Conference. Really good baseball, 3-game series, which is awesome. So first week we played Cuthbertson. We lost back-to-back days, but that first game we didn't get a quality start from our Tuesday starter, and I totally mismanaged our pitching, like to where we had no arms left on Wednesday. So we had a 7-2 lead in game 2 of the series after Hoffman came out in like the 5th, and our bullpen completely blew it. It wasn't because our bullpen guys didn't execute. They threw the ball over the white thing, but they just got barreled because I mismanaged those 2 nights. So Stuart James, he did a phenomenal job of out-coaching me that day. I know Sam Skinner out-coached me last year, but there's so many good coaches in the area.
Yeah.
Daniel Cook out-coached me in our scrimmage game a few weeks ago. He's one of my best friends. So we had a little side bet on that one that I lost. But I think what I love about these other coaches in this area is just sitting back. I don't coach third base because my third base coach Chuck Reinheimer's a phenomenal offensive mind. I don't make any calls offensively, so I'm able to sit in the dugout and just kind of watch and manage the dugout. But I also watch the other dugout and kind of how Coach Fronk or how Coach Skinner or how Coach whoever is kind of managing their dugout. So I try to take notes from those guys, but I get out-coached a lot, yes, but I continue to take notes throughout the years.
Right. Just a couple nights ago, Purdue was playing Tennessee at the end, and guy goes up for the layup, it goes off the rim, and Purdue had the right guy there at the right time that tipped it in, and they won. Right. After the game, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, the guys, the commentators were talking about it, and they were saying how Arizona's coach got out coached. He didn't make the right move. So regardless of how good we become as coaches, there's always going to be those moments of kind of humble you a little bit in humility, because the game, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy for the players. Not easy for the coaches. There's a lot going on. So kind of piggybacking off of that, the who wins in a one-on-one coaching match right now?
Reid, 100%. He's a lot older than me. That's why.
He's older.
No, I think we both do things where our personalities are a little bit different, and like I think I'd like to think both of us are in a conversation with a lot of the really good coaches, like Eddie mentioned here in Charlotte, and I think for us, I think the cool thing is like Eddie's not doing it to.
He's not competing against
just
you.
be you're right. And I'm not like it's just about, hey, can we put our guys in a great position to be successful? Because like I said earlier, like, hey, you're not going to hit tomorrow, and neither am I. And so I think I again, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's where your head's at too. In regards to, hey, we just want to put our guys in the best position to be successful.
I'd love to see a 3-game set. I think a 3-game set would be fun between the three of us.
That would
Obviously,
be fun.
we're not able to do that, but the one game with Charlotte Christian every year is kind of the highlight of our seasons. Last year it was a really good one in our place, but this one's been kind of earmarked on the calendar for a while. So I can't.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Who has the best pregame playlist, and who chooses the playlist for your team?
We do not. We need
help?
We need a new playlist.
You're
guy.
bouncing from a little bit of merengue, reggaeton, to country.
Well, we got to get it cleaned up, to be honest. So it's definitely not us. Playlist.
Maybe we do. I like to take my dad's the PA announcer. I'm a shout
it's
out.
definitely him.
Team dentist, team announcer does it all.
As long as he's not taking the dentist music in the background from his office
None of that.
What about dugout energy? How important is that for you guys?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Like huge. And it depends on the environment. Tomorrow's environment off Sardis Road is going to be very different than the environment we have out in Lake Park near where you live, right? So we have to be able to, still get up for it's still a conference game tonight against Porter Ridge. We got to be ready to go to sweep the series. And then we got to get up tomorrow and get back in our routine and flip the switch. And, 3 o'clock, we got to be ready to go. But dugout energy is huge.
Dugout energy. I agree. I've coached for a long time, as I've been playing, but I also just got done playing this past a month ago. Pretty much wrapped up the career. But when coaches focus on energy, but how do you go about manufacturing energy that just isn't present? You just got the wind taken out of your sail. Energy would help, but the energy you're trying to create, you know what I mean? It doesn't manufacture realness until somebody does something. I feel like what frustrates me is when you finally do have something occur that they miss, that they're not engaged in, that could pick us up, like a leadoff walk. That's momentum. That's the numbers even say. It's but sometimes I've just had coaches in the past that are we're dead in here. It's well, yeah, coach, we got nothing to celebrate right now, or we got nothing to get up about. We're getting kicked in the face. Does that make sense?
Being in on every single pitch, pulling
Just
for your
engaged.
pitcher, being engagement, expectation, anticipation. Something's about to happen, and I got to be prepared for it. It's the toughest thing in baseball is to be an outfielder and to prep step and be ready for every play and never get a ball. Or as a hitter, right, I've got to be in on every pitch this. I'm going to hit this pitch right here and then decide not to, right? It can't be wait until you see the ball and then swing. You got to anticipate and expect. So it's pitch to pitch. And for the average fan, baseball may seem boring, but there's a lot of strategy that goes in between pitches, right? So how do you steer your dugout? It's not just noise. I know it's not just noise.
I mean, I think it's a lot of it has to be player led, and it has to trickle over from kind of some of the other things. Hey, you're preaching. Hey, approach. Hey, some of the goals. So it has to be internal. Your coach can't just get you fired up every inning. Maybe like I was saying before about, hey, maybe you pick a spot here and there, and if you're feeling it and getting on guys about it, whether it be in game or after a game or whatever that looks like. But I think it just has to be from within.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think the environment though is really big, like I touched on. Music in between innings is really. Like, I play music during every practice.
I like
It's
it.
loud.
Yeah.
Pop-up communication in practice, like you gotta be vocal. So like, I think energy is big. Like walk-up songs are good. Y'all have a great announcer. Like that's good. But I think it has to be player-led, like Coach Fronk said, and it has to be centered on just our dugout and can't leak out into the other side. And it's all got to be in like a respectful, good, a good way. So, but it can't. You also have to like watch those negative moments too, to where like, okay, we kick a ball, are we cussing under our breath over here behind the trash can, or are we just saying, hey, next pitch mentality, like move on, throw them another ground ball, let's make a play.
Yeah, I think that goes back to a point you made earlier is like just like what you celebrate, like what you value as a coaching staff. It does trickle down. Like if you're valuing quality ABs, we might be getting no hit, but like this guy just went 0-2 to 3-2, drew a walk, like picking that guy up, and it starts to become contagious. So I think it, like you're saying, like, I do think music and environment, it's very important, and what you celebrate as a staff, like that's where if it's all about winning all the time, then when you're losing, like everything sucks. But like you can really stay engaged in the game.
I love what the Oregon football coach did. I don't know if you saw that over the last couple of years when they're playing on the road and the home team is coming out and they're playing the music, whether it be at Virginia Tech or whether it be at Ohio State, whatever it is. Their players act like that's their entry, and they're jumping around the field like that, like they're celebrating them, and they flip the script, right? So, all right, one word that describes your team going into tomorrow. I know Coach Simmons started that culture a few years back. Is it resilient this year, or was that resilient last year? What's your mojo this year?
We have an acronym, ELITE.
Okay.
It starts with like a high standard and trickles down to kind of everything else we do. I think our guys are ready for whatever's coming. I think like Eddie, I'm sure preaches to his guys. It's just like, hey, you always being ready for the next one. We had our first conference series this week, and that was where our focus was. And so now today's in preparation of being ready. So I mean, that's the word that pops to me. Our theme is that ELITE acronym, and I could go through all of them, but I think the ready word is and just to be ready to play and be successful, but to have fun.
Yeah, preparation, old school country talk is like get ready to get ready. Like you always got to be ready all the time. What's one word that describes your team, Eddie?
Yeah, so we have a Bible verse that we've worn. Iron sharpens iron. It's kind of been our mantra this year.
Okay.
We did a retreat with some military guys and a priest in January. That was kind of what we built everything around. But the one word really that we're talking about on a daily basis that we write on the whiteboard in the dugout is together. Like, again, a lot of times we can get selfish with things that, from a player standpoint and just on day-to-day of how we go about it. But I think if we're always thinking about playing together and playing as a group and team environment, team at-bats, team innings, like bullpen getting, picking up our starting pitchers, if we're together, like good things can happen. So
I feel like all of us are saying the same stuff. Like good coaches, like, hey, together was on our sweatshirt last year. Like, hey, we're all preaching the same thing, and it's just like Eddie's great at knowing his roster. I'd like to think, hey, us, as a coaching staff, like, and it's just, hey, trying to, hey, find the words, find the way to craft it each year, but also every week and every day, and like knowing what these guys are going through, and hey, you got spring break coming up, and you got this going on, and this guy. So like, I think it's a question. It's a great question. It's the right question, but like, I think we're all trying to say the same stuff. If you're trying to do it well, and maybe just a little bit different package each and every day, every week.
Yeah, it goes back to that. Sorry, but
That was bringing unity back. Bringing unity together.
It goes back to the piece of like, it when you see it, and you try to cultivate it, but it all is built on belief. If the player believes it, and you build that trust, it's like culture's gonna happen. But if it's just words and actions without like belief, it's just something you guys do. It's not who you are. So like that's why good teams become great teams that are player led, is because like you get the buy-in, you get the belief, and then they're like it produces a unity that takes the entire team to a different level. And it's what I experienced at Coastal. Like we weren't the best team in the country, but like we clicked on, like we were family. You know what I mean? We were playing for one more day together. Like we didn't want it to end. So
yeah, we don't want our players to feel like they're cornerbacks, meaning playing on an island. Right? This game is so terrible when you're selfish and you're playing by yourself. Like when you play together as a unit, and you know the guy beside you has your back all the time. There's a lot of power in that. So we're going to wrap up today. We're excited about tomorrow's game at Charlotte Christian,
You
1 o'clock.
You definitely can't get out of here without picking a winner of the game. How can you put these guys together and not picking? We both do. Me and you have to pick a winner.
Oh my goodness!
This is game day.
Okay.
No hard feelings either
I
way.
know who you guys are going to pick. Simple. You're wearing
Okay,
it on your chest.
okay, let's talk. Let's break this down then. Let's put some data to it since that's the era we're in. Home game, obviously for Charlotte Christian's, got to give them a check mark on that box. Two great lefties. One's going to Columbia and Russ Berger. The other lefty's committed to Clemson, and Griffin McCain. This is tough.
Before you pick, I think if I had to bet based on data, I would probably go seasoned. And they're seasoned, they're young, but
I was going there. Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Knights.
You're
I gotta
rooting
be
for the
rooting for the
Knights?
Knights. Yeah, I have a personal attachment, and I believe in them, and I think they come
fair.
through. But I think they are the underdogs. They are the clear underdog.
I'm
tomorrow
sitting
night.
in the.
I don't think it's a clear. No.
I'm sitting in the middle behind the plate tomorrow. And these games are it's tough because we all have the opportunity to coach each other's players depending on the time of year, right? And so you know so many of them. So I'm not necessarily pulling for anyone. I'm always a big fan of baseball, good baseball. And what I mean by that is my daughters that come to me the last couple weeks, or maybe 7, 8, 9 days, is I can't believe Venezuela won, right? I can't believe the U.S. lost. And I'm like, it was great for Venezuela. It was an amazing WBC series. I watched more baseball in those 2 weeks than I've watched in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that, and I know this is going to happen, like baseball, good high school baseball is growing in this area. The population continues to increase, 50, 60,000 people move into the Charlotte area every year. And so this game is magnified, it's earmarked on the calendar as a Metrolina Christian would be, or when Cupperson won and 2 out of 3 against you guys, the city was kind of shocked. Sorry, Stu, but the city was kind of shocked. And so we've talked about a lot of adversity and how you respond to it. Charlotte Catholics won the last 9 games.
Yes.
After that series, and so they're hot.
Wow.
Yeah, they're hot. And so Charlotte Christian's just coming back from Arizona, where they won a championship there, a tournament championship, against some really good teams. I'm not, as a pitcher, I would like to see a low-scoring game, as Eddie said earlier. Yeah. I think it's going to be a dogfight, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. To pick a winner, if they play each other 5 times, it's probably, or 10 times, it's going to be 5-5.
Boo.
The betting lines are -110 apiece. So I think experience has an opportunity, right? Because I was talking about this with my partner Will Simmons the last couple days. Like the difference between a sophomore, junior year versus your senior year, and Drew Darling's really an example of this. It's so huge. Like that growth from sophomore, junior to senior, mentally and physically, it's really amazing. And so I try to slow parents down when I talk to them as their kids are freshmen and I want to play varsity. Well, I know you do, because JV baseball is nobody's there, and there's no exposure, there's no music, all the stuff. But are you ready for it? Drew Darling is absolutely ready for this season. Cooper Gornett is absolutely ready for this season. Like Quinn O'Rourke has absolutely taken a huge jump mentally and the ability to pound the strike zone this year. Hoffman has done the same thing. Like Hoffman was a thrower, in my opinion, up until this year. And he's really, he went 5 scoreless last night with 1 walk maybe. Like he was really good. So there's a ton of talent on both teams. If I had to pick a winner, not with my mouth, but with my money, you'd have to go with the experience. But the home opportunity, the home stage is gonna. So I can't pick a winner, bro. With all that said, I can't pick a winner.
That, Jake, is politically correct, huh?
I've never been political in my life.
He's being a businessman.
Man, oh man.
I'm really excited about it.
It'll be a great game.
It's
going to be a lot of fun. And,
Yeah.
Whether the score is a 1-run game or there's going to be 1, 2, 3 pitches that decided.
These
and,
type of games
it'll be a
typically
lot of
come
fun.
down to one play. They really do.
couple-
Has the last couple years.
It's a critical
couple
error.
through the year,
Yeah.
or through the game.
If you go back to the WBC, if you look at the 3-2 game, the U.S. versus Venezuela, it was the 2-out walk that led to the Bryce Harper home run, and it was the leadoff walk the next inning that scored the winning run for Venezuela. So, going back to data, we can't have 2-out walks, we can't have leadoff walks. The leadoff hitter's got to get on base. Like that's a game setter, right? And the pitcher's got to pound the zone early.
Yeah. I think the point falls on, like, you're going to see a level of high school baseball you're not going to be able to see assemble very often on the same field.
100%.
Whether it's like a young class and some good seniors that are like really going to be impressive as they progress into the future, or a bunch of seasoned guys that are going to some cool schools. So I think I'm excited. So my first high school game of the year, excited to get out there. If I could get a seat where I could see with my daughter, that'd be awesome. So, but we'll be there.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate you guys coming on. That was awesome.
Thank you guys for having us.
Good luck
Appreciate it.
tomorrow,
Appreciate
and
it, guys.
we'll be out to see you the rest of the year as well.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us again at Live at the Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Charlotte Christian as we see Charlotte Catholic versus Charlotte Christian tomorrow. It's going to be a great game. Thanks again for listening.